Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with a little update for XRP and the Ethereum Technicals. I want to apologize, I'm not doing a full analysis for these markets for this video. That is in the last week's video, as it is Christmas Day in New Zealand tomorrow. I will not be doing a video then, so it is just a small update noting any changes from the previous analysis. If you do want a full analysis, I will be doing that on the usual time, Tuesday next week. But if you want a full analysis now, and anything is not mentioned in this video, you can check the last analysis that I uploaded on the 17th of December on New York time. For the Ethereum weekly charts, this last week is labeled a hanging man with this bearish confirmation here. Price now moving lower below support, now resistance at 35.80. A push on volume for this last completed week may indicate a push in downwards movement, though, as I will get into in a little bit on the daily time frame, strongest volume within the week was on upwards movement, seeing volume to continue to support upwards movement at the weekly time frame as well. ADX now declines with the recent bearish movement. The prior bullish trend is now seen mute. ATR has increased a little bit steeply with price's recent decline, seeing a bearish volatility profile for the very short term. And as ADX declines at the weekly time frame now for Ethereum, we use the model of stochastics and support and resistance. The model suggests a downward swing may occur at this point towards support, potentially down at 2800 or down to 2400, where price finds one of these support points, while stochastics may enter oversold. On the daily time frame for Ethereum's technicals, we can see a bit more detail for the recent decline, a hammer candlestick at this recent low just here, and price now increasing a little bit after finding support around 3200. This current bullish candlestick here could be seen as a bullish engulfing pattern, as it encompasses the prior candlestick. Though as this is an incomplete session at the time of recording this, it is only 4:30 on New York time, we cannot draw any strict conclusions from this candlestick at this point. I will be doing an update for Ethereum, both Elliott Wave and the technical analysis, on December 24th. So you can check that out at pureelliottwave.com for a full update and a clear conclusion from this candlestick here. Volume overall supports upwards movement on the daily time frame. The previous strong push from volume on the last completed week's downwards candlestick. Within the week, we see strongest volume on the upwards movement, giving an overall bullish volume profile for Ethereum at both the daily and weekly time frame. Though we do still see some strength in downwards movement, the strongest volume is on this bullish candlestick here. More detail for the steep increase in ATR as price recently declines. Shows a bearish volume profile on the daily time frame as well. On the XRP weekly chart, this wave count has changed ever so slightly. I will not go over these Fibonacci durations or the targets, as they remain the same from the previous analysis. Though at this point, minor waves 3 and 4 within intermediate wave 3 are labeled incomplete, expected to continue higher with minor wave 3 and extended impulse. When it arrives, intermediate wave 4 cannot move into intermediate wave 1 price territory below 0.9301. And this low at the end of minor wave 2 on the weekly chart is this slowdown here. On the daily chart, we can see more detail for the upwards movement, labeled minor wave 3, currently expected to be within the final stages of minute wave 4. So we've got seeing minute wave 4 continuing as a contracting triangle. It may end also as a barrier triangle, whether the BD trendline is flat or not. That is not an absolute rule. It must be overall flat. So as minute wave 4 continues, it may be relabeled at some point. Though as minute wave 4 does continue, it cannot move into minute wave 1 price territory below 0.644. And once minute wave 4 is complete, we will be able to calculate a target for minute wave 5 and minor wave 3 at those two different degrees, giving us a somewhat more specific idea for where these waves may be labeled complete. On the XRP technical weekly chart, we see the same candlestick pattern that we saw on the Ethereum weekly. I'm sorry, the note is not that clear. I should fix that in the next analysis. This candlestick just here is labeled a hanging man, particularly with this bearish confirmation here. This candlestick here is labeled a high wave with the long upper and lower wick that are essentially even, mid-sized body, so it is not labeled a doji. A decline in volume for the last two bearish sessions sees price falling of its own weight. Money flow has continued to neutral territory, returning from overbought, though RSI remains overbought. ATR steeply increases as price declines, giving a very bearish volatility profile for the short term at the weekly time frame. On the technical daily chart, price has declined a little bit more with some choppier action on the daily time frame. This candlestick here could be labeled a bearish engulfing pattern, though I have not labeled it as such, as this was not a very long increase to warrant this candlestick being labeled as that. We have these two hammer candlesticks here as price tests support at 2, price overall continuing lower. Volume has overall declined, though a push on some of the bullish candlesticks for the last week sees some support for upwards movement. On balance, volume is moving within an increasingly narrow range As on-balance volume nears support at this point, it may provide a bullish signal if it reacts to this support line, or a bearish signal if it breaks below the support line. At this point, any signal from this range would only be a weak signal, as both the resistance and support lines have only the minimum 2 tests, with the support line having a very weak third test here that could potentially be seen as a test. I have not considered it as such. Both of them also have a very steep slope and are not very long held. ATR declines for the short term along with price, giving a slight bullish volatility profile. That's all for me with your little update for XRP and the Ethereum technicals. As I previously mentioned, we will be doing an update for Ethereum, both the Elliott Wave and the technicals, on December 24th, New York time. So you can sign up for that at pureelliottwave.com for that update tomorrow. If there are any changes to the XRP chart, I will be updating those using the comments on the Pure Elliott Wave post for this video. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a good week.